Thank you. Okay. Technical difficulties. So to begin, I was so again, my name is Julie Vernon, co-creator and steward within Crooked Tooth Brewing. Pronouns are she, her. So you are all the true treasure within our spaces, within the community, within the connections that we bond together, the connections we cultivate both internally and externally, and how we serve each other in the world and our community around. Each one of you and your creative minds and your expansive energy. Well, I might cry during this, so there might be a couple tears along the way. You all are the true beauty of this community and in our lives that we spend along with each other. So today I really want to share a little bit about myself and the journey and our journey here with Crooked Tooth, but I really would like the end of this as an offering of a practice to really nourish your creative mind and being. So if you haven't already, please grab one of these notebooks here by Cirrus so that you have time and opportunity to journal and take a few moments to really reflect and take this moment to be a gift to you, your presence as a gift to you in this moment in time, to really allow this to nourish your creative minds and to serve the community from your treasure, the gift that is you. So the journey. So today we are in Crooked Tooth Brewing. Many people along the way always ask, what is the name of Crooked Tooth? What's the meaning behind it? And the intention behind Crooked Tooth Brewing is to celebrate your uniqueness, your authentic being, what makes you you. The intention was to create a place that was a safe place for all beings to come, be seen, felt, and heard in all of their parts and all of their wholeness, in times of sorrow, in times of celebration, in the day-to-day, times to feel truly connected. There's a reason we don't have TVs. It's to bring those moments together of connection and time to spend together in our creative ways, and ultimately cultivating gratitude for the perfection and imperfection, because our journeys can be messy and beautiful and everything in between. So the treasure of connection, so sharing a little bit about how the seeds of Crooked Tooth came into being, and I'll share a cute little story to begin with. So as you can see here, this is a picture on the top right is myself and this beautiful human being, Benjamin Vernon, over here. And so our journey began on a morning, my early senior year, his junior year. I was a little older. And I was coming out of a history class on the top floor of Tucson High, main building. And I was coming out, and he walked by, and I literally, in that moment, my entire being, I almost fell. Like, I had to lean against the wall. I had chills through the entirety of my body. I could barely talk, and my whole, consciousness went to a different time and space. And I was just like, whoa! It was really amazing. You know. It's true. It's all true. And my best friend was standing next to me as we walked out, and I literally had grabbed her hand to hold myself up. And in that moment, I was like, who is that? And she laughed at me. She's like, Ben. And I was like, "Oh." And I was like, oh, okay. And there was some treasures within that moment, because in that moment, not only did I meet and connect to the most treasured connections in all of my life, but it opened my field to the lenses of our perception and that awareness of our perception in the moment. Because my friend, best friend since 6th grade, this is senior year, they had dated our freshman year. Like, how did I miss that? My sister, that we've been inseparable since her birth, that's a year younger. She asked him out in 8th grade. Like, how did I not know who this human being was in this journey? And so that opened me up to this understanding of the unseen in this unseen world, in this mythical world, this beyond the unseen and connection, and allowing that awareness to step into being. And so, needless to say, within 2 weeks we were inseparable. We had our first child by the end of our high school time, so we were teenage parents. And then when we were 21 and 22, we had our second child. And at that moment, the connections, living through the trials and tribulations of trying to be growing who we are as individuals at the same time in a common goal and a common collective energy, thank you. And we found our way with our 2 children, trying to find their connections within the people that we loved and cherished. And being 21 and 22, we found our way into beer culture, into breweries. It was a place we could come together with our children, with our friends, with similar interests at the time. We could come together. We felt a place of non-judgment. We could be with our kids. We could play. Our friends could play with our kids. We could bring friends and family. And beer became what connected us to our community at that time, and feeling that we were still essential and vitally connected to those that really support us and nourished our connections with one another. And so from that point forward, we started beer home brewing. Beer culture became a ritual in our home and in our family. We started home brewing. It became a ritual every Saturday morning to brew on the patio. The kids loved it. My littlest liked to eat the grain first thing in the morning, the 2-row. That was her breakfast a lot of time, And so it became this ritual of brewing together on the patio. And it would turn into barbecuing in the end of the evening, because the brew day was all long, because of course we didn't just brew 1 or 2 beers, it was like 6 beers in a day, because we were very ambitious. And it was this really beautiful time and space. And then we also found, when we would travel, that's where we would go, because we'd usually camp with the kids. So we'd be camping in breweries, we'd be hiking in breweries, ocean in breweries, wherever we were going, because we would play cards together. We would spend time together. It was connecting. We could relax and release and exhale and just be present fully with our children and our friends and each other. So beer culture became a really big, important part of our life. And so that was along the way. And then Ben and I are both pretty goal-oriented, motivated people that came into this world full of ready to change the world. And so at that point, we had decided to go back to school. But in order to do that, as being a young couple, we had to take turns doing that with children. So I went back to school right down here at the Desert Institute of Healing Arts and got my massage license certificate. And that just opened the world of healing to me. And I was just on this really deep path at that point. Then went back to school, got a degree in chemistry. At the time, we had our 3rd child during that time. And and so then he got a degree in chemistry, which led for him to get a job doing environmental remediation, because like I said, we were going to change the world, and he was going to go heal our earth. And so he got a job in environmental remediation, but which led to that was that he was traveling away from our home for 8 months out of the year, and he was rarely home. We had 3 small children. I was working full-time. I had also gone back to school to study cognitive and neurosciences, and so it was this journey of just, we were exhausted, we were depleted, he was away, our kids weren't thriving, our relationship wasn't thriving, our finances were not thriving, nothing was in alignment, everything felt so resistant in this path that we thought that was our journey and where we were going. And so on a rare evening, we were at Passe having a cup of coffee, just completely feeling defeated. And we were like, life has to be better than this. This is not sustainable. Life has to be better. And so we started to think about the things that excite us. Where are we joyful? When are the times that we're happy? How can we be happy? How can we sleep in the same bed at night? What can we do? And so it came back to beer and crafting beer and the beer culture, those connections. We felt nourished in those places. We felt safe. We felt heard in those places. And that's what we wanted to cultivate. So in that moment in time, we decided to open up a brewery. And so we didn't have any resources of our own financially to do such, but we had this dream. We had a really big dream that we wanted to do. So Ben and I put together a business plan. We shared our dream with anybody that would listen, anybody that came near. I'm sure lots of people were tired of hearing about it. And so the journey continued. There was also a time and place, we had talked and shared, and started to feel a little bit is this going to happen? How are we going to do this? We have a business plan, but what's next? How do we do this? And so it was the day that my sister was giving birth to my first nephew, and I was her birth doula, and it was a very long, hard, traumatic birth. And so our families were all waiting in the waiting room, and at the birth of my nephew, my sister's father-in-law turned to Ben and said, "How about that brewery? When are we going to do that brewery?" Yeah. So it was like this beautiful moment of joyous births all around. We were just like, all right, let's do this. And so it gave us that fuel again. It excited us. We were passionate again to keep going and finding and fueling that dream and that want. And then from that moment, soon after, our cousin came into town. We were still sharing and talking our dream. And he heard our dream, and he said, I want to invest. I want to help. And he grew up in Eloy. He left when he was 18 to join the military. And he had worked every day since he was 18 in the military and saved every single penny that he had made in the military, and eating cans of tuna and crackers most days. And the fact that he was willing to believe in our dream and share what he had saved was the most profound treasure still to this moment, and the most reverence. I just am in awe every moment and so grateful for this young being who was so just beautifully believed in our dream, and he just a beautiful human being. So the treasures within those connections, and that was the birth of Crooked Tooth Brewing. And so, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very, very grateful. And so we opened, and a year and a half later after opening, we received some life-altering, kind of devastating news. And it was the mix of, a lot of different places within. We were a brand new business starting up. And a year and a half in, I got the diagnosis of a brain tumor of my 8th cranial nerve. And thank you. The treasure within this community, the treasure within the people sitting here that I can look around and see so many of you that ultimately impacted and changed the future of my life, of our life, of Crooked Tooth Brewing. Without the love and support and nourishment of your creative minds for the healing of mine. Thank you, Andrea, for the gigs for Julie Vernon creating our creative brains, for the healing of hers, for Joshua, for everybody at this table, Popsicle and Marcy, and every amazing being in this room that went above and beyond all of the time to make sure that I was cared for, that I was tended to, that our business, that our home, that my children, and that our well-being was tended to. And I know without a doubt that I would not be standing here in this moment of time, in this space, without that. And it says it all here. And the reason, there's a lot on this slide for a purpose. Tucson is a powerhouse. This could be 10 slides, but this is a powerhouse. Over 600 people within our community, expanding through Arizona in the beer culture. Over 600 people of creative beings came together and created I left out my best friend, Elena, oh my God. So, how did I do that? So Elena, and the power of connection with our community. Elena was one of my best, dearest friends at the time from high school. We had reunited on the day of her diagnosis of the same type of rare brain tumor years before. And I have chills. And we had not seen each other in years until the day that she was diagnosed with the same type of brain tumor. And on Valentine's Day, on Love Day. And so fast forward back to a couple years. So Elena came to me and she said, Julie, you need a GoFundMe. Your life is going to stop. You need a GoFundMe. And I am so freaking grateful every moment and every bit that she created, cultivated, shared, started this amazing whirlwind of beauty, of collective energy. It's just beyond anything that I could have ever dreamt into being, anything that I could have, anything along the way that I could have dreamed into being. And it truly, your creative energy and expansive energy, the connections that you make, your intention, the treasure within you, by you sharing your treasure, your gifts of who you are, you all care and tend for your community in a capacity that is beyond the unknown, in the unseen. Those connections are deeply. So I will spend the rest of my days, every day, in honor and reverence and with the intention to pay forward that love and connection and to create that space for healing and love and connection in everything I do. And I am eternally grateful for each and every one of you that are in this space today and for sharing your expansive collective energy. So, thank you. All right. So from this space, like you mentioned, I'd spend a lot of my time in the healing world. And so what I would really like to do is now turn this time over for it to be a space and a practice for you. And I would like to guide you into a couple practices and a slight meditative state to really take a moment for yourself. Allow your creative mind to be nurtured and filled. And the morning after, which I was so excited to hear the theme treasure, the morning after I woke up super early at like 5:30 in the morning, and this just like came in like boom, boom. Luckily there was a journal next to my bed and I was like boom, boom, boom. And then looking back, this is my daily ritual. This is my morning ritual. These are things that I do intentionally throughout my day. I just had never written them down in an order of what I do. So I'll run through these really quickly, and then I would love to take the opportunity to guide you into a space to allow this to be a moment for you, to fill your cup. So first tune in. So the first thing I do every morning is I tune in. So with the surgery, I lost half of my hearing immediately. I still cannot differentiate what a sound is or where the sound is coming from. So the first thing I do is I tune in, and I come from a place of intention of gratitude when I wake up, that I can see my walls, that I can see the beautiful art by so many of you in my room, that I can hear the birds singing. And then I go into a practice of release and receive, and I'm gonna be sharing a practice of Sami and Saiwa Chakwe. It's a Quechua on our heaviness, our hucha, our heaviness that we carry with us, and releasing it to the earth to be composted and transformed, and then receiving the beautiful sweet nectar of the earth. Explore what it is that excites me. Explore my day. What is it? And like bring back that joy and excitement. Aini. Aini is sacred reciprocity. So this beautiful exchange of giving and receiving. So sitting with that and seeing how I can share my gift and my treasure. And the next is the remembrance to release control. Step into the flow. Let it go. Have trust in the process. And the last is the remembrance to really feel empowered and engage the world from that place. So I invite you all now, we'll move through it pretty quickly. And if you have your notebook from Sarah's, please have that nearby if you would like. So I'm gonna ask you all to find a nice place where you feel solid, closing your eyelids down softly. You're gonna extend your right hand up. Can you all hear me? Okay. You're gonna extend your right hand up. You're gonna bring your middle 3 fingers into the palm of your hand, extending your pinky and your thumb. And from this, you're gonna bring your thumb to close off your right nostril. And then you're gonna inhale through your right nostril. And once you have that inhalation, you're gonna release the thumb and bring your pinky to close off the left nostril as you exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. So you should have your pinky on your left nostril. You're going to exhale, inhale through the right. And once you have the inhalation through the right nostril, you're going to release the right nostril, bringing your thumb to rest back onto that opposite nostril on the right side. And you're going to fully exhale through the left. So I'll give you a moment. It's inhale and exhale through each side of the nostril, using your hands to just close and unlock each side. And this balances the left and the right hemisphere. This allows a nice calming and centering of the energies within. And when you're doing this, you can have your eyes closed with your gaze towards that third eye, that mid-eyebrow center. Just allowing a nice and intention and giving yourself permission to really be present for you in this moment. And then from here, releasing your hand, I invite you to close your eyes, allowing your eyes to be softly closed, and giving yourself permission with your creative, beautiful, expansive, creative minds to bring your awareness to the crown of your head, just the space just above the crown of your head. And from here, you're going to visualize that the crown of your head opening as 1,000-petal lotus, opening to receive the wisdom, the guidance, the love from up above, from your source energy, whatever that may be. This light, the Sami light, comes through in this really beautiful rainbow light coming down, imagining like a monsoon rain just coming down, flushing over your energy body, flushing over your physical body, deep into your mind, your heart, and your belly, and just giving yourself permission in this moment to truly release any heaviness, any worries, anything that is distracting you from this moment. Anything that distracts you from your creative being, and just allowing that to literally melt off your being, released into the earth to be transformed and composted and into this beautiful vital life force from the earth. And then from this space, bringing your awareness to your tailbone, to the bottom of your feet, and using your magnificent creative mind, imagine the roots of your being rooting down just as a deep, powerful, tall, strong tree, rooting down into the earth, layer by layer into the earth, until you find a place to plug into the heart, to the core of Mother Earth. And taking a moment of gratitude for that energy, for that love and support of the earth that has always held you, has always been there. And with your imagination and your intention, draw a sweet, rich, almost like honey nectar of the earth rising up in through your belly, in through your tailbone, into your belly, into your heart, your mind, through the entirety of your being, feeling this beautiful earth energy flowing within you, flowing and fueling your creative seed, your creative being, your mind, flowing and cocooning the entirety of your being. And then from this space, from the balance of the wisdom and the strength from above, the connection to the support and the foundation below you, with that union and that yoking with that energy within, from this space, allow yourself to take a moment to explore the things that excite you, that bring a vibrance to you. Taking a moment to have a moment with them, honoring them, and then asking yourself, flowing with them in their alignment with you in this moment. Is there Aini? Is there sacred reciprocity? Is there this beautiful exchange of giving and receiving? And taking a moment to explore that. And then from that awareness, allow yourself to bring intentions and setting goals to allow those things that excite you to fill you, fill your days, fill your heart, and asking yourself, what can you do today in the simplest form to bring that into every moment, in every experience, every shared moment? What are the simple things that you can do? And then into the mantra, each of you saying, I am worthy. I am worthy of the treasure within me. I am worthy of my superpower. My superpower is the gift. And then giving yourself permission to release control and step into the flow. And lastly, allow yourself to feel and be fueled by an empowerment to engage the world and share your treasure and your gift. Because that is what the world needs, is you, your treasure, your creative, expansive minds. And from this space, just taking a moment, if you'd like now, in your journal, to go ahead, if you would like to write down anything, or just take a moment to reflect in all that you are, in your gift, in your beauty in this moment. And just the remembrance that caretaking and healing our creative being is essential. We have to fill our cup back up in order to come to a place where we feel centered, where we can continue to create and give from a centered and whole place. And just offering yourself the remembrance of gratitude, the offering of a mindful intention, and allowing your core values to really guide what excites you, and that alignment in the things, staying connected to your truth, nobody else's, what is true to you. And allowing yourself to nourish the connection within, deeply connecting to that, nourishing those relationships with each other, sharing that expansive quality with our world and each other. And the awareness and the permission to ritual. I have found ritual every morning, every night is so deeply, deeply nourishing and self-regulating and healing. Taking time to reflect on all that you are, the amazingness, awesomeness that you truly are within this space in this world. And then the remembrance of your journey. The remembrance that every step you are weaved together. We are all connected. The remembrance that we are a powerhouse. You are a powerhouse. You are supported and you are loved and you are cherished. And so to remember to celebrate who you are. Celebrate the big wins, the little wins, all of it. Celebrate every moment of all that you are. because which was shared with me recently, is the time is now. The time is now to celebrate and step into your place of an empowered self, to share your expansive quality, to share your gift. And lastly, sharing your gift, stepping into that place of sacred service, knowing that your gift is the true treasure. So cheers and much gratitude to you. You are the treasure. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.